Welcome back to the Yeda Elohim podcast, where the fear of the Lord isn't just a concept but a way of life. In a world that's lost its reverence for God, we stand firm, diving into scripture, wisdom, and unwavering obedience. This is more than a conversation. It's a call to walk in true fear of the Lord. Let's get into it. Episode 34.
Yeah, 34. Good stuff.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Topic of today's episode, homie. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
What does it mean to be set apart?
Oh, set apart from God, I'm guessing, right?
I mean, set apart from this world.
Okay.
Like, what does it mean to really be set apart from this world? I'm going to read a verse before
apart.
we do anything else. Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." What does that mean to you, Omi? What does that speak?
I think it goes back to how we're always growing, and we have to be set apart just from our fleshly desires and stuff, and we have to kind of figure out what's more important than that. Yeah, I mean, I would have to dive deeper, but good topic. Yeah.
I mean, I think today this society that we live in, it's so easy to get lost in the transactions of this world of wanting to be accepted, of wanting to fit in, of wanting to be loved and get the attention of whoever it may be, that we often forget that this life ultimately does not matter if we are not striving to be living for Christ. And people often forget that. And it's really sad, because that could be the determining factor of life or death for somebody, for really experiencing eternity with or without Christ. And to have a renewal of your mind, what does that look like for you? What does a renewal of your mind look like? For those people who are watching and they're wondering, what does a renewal of the mind entail?
To get out of your own ways, like, you have to rethink things. Like, you can't just be stuck on one thing that you just know because it's the only thing you think about. Going to people, talking to people, having their thoughts. Not just of the world, but of other things than the world. Because we get so caught up, like you said, we get caught up in this world, and it's not good. This world is very horrible. There's a lot of bad things, but there's a lot of good things also. And you can look at the good things and the bad things, but it doesn't matter, because it's all going to go away at some point. So you have to really sculpt your mind to knowing that, understanding that this is not the end-all, be-all, that we have somewhere else to go to live eternity with God.
Sure.
It's like a preparation thing, sculpting your mind to be prepared for something that's coming. And not only that, but practice new things, understand new things, open your mind to more things, just not with the regular degular like you've been doing every day and just thinking about the same thing every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's renewing sounds exactly how it's spelled, right? It's renewing. So you're taking something and you're transforming it into something else. You're taking an old thing and you're making it new. So when I think of that, I think that when we are not with God and we're living in the world, we're our old selves. But then when we go and we decide to follow God, God is going to transform us and renew us into a different individual, a new person. I mean, you look at Paul. I mean, his initial name was Saul, and he was out there persecuting Christians for their belief. And he was killing them, murdering them. And then God came to him in a walk back to wherever he was coming from and was shot down with a bright beam of light. And Jesus spoke to him and he changed his name to Paul. And you have to think, like, that's like the definition of renewing. It's taking something old and making it into something new. And the thing that I feel like a lot of Christians, at least modern day Christians in America, they think that they're renewed, but yet they're still living in their old patterns.
Yeah, their old ways.
Like, you can't classify yourself as a renewed Christian if you're still doing and partaking in the things that your old self did. Renewing means giving rid of the old, giving rid of it. It's like an animal shedding its old skin. They're giving rid of it. they're not going to try back and later to crawl back inside of their old shedding skin. Like, that's their old self. That's the dead self. They're leaving it behind.
And do you think this happens countless times? Do you think that the shedding of the skin happens countless times where you're renewing every couple minutes, every couple days, whatever it is?
I mean, I think that there's like a definite point in a switch in someone's life where it's from living in the world to then living in God. But I think you could transform. I think you can enter new eras of your life where you're more mature than the last area. But yeah, no, I think you definitely can.
People always call it like seasons, where they'll be in seasons of like times are tough or times are better now with God. Like, I'm more involved with God now. And then there'll be times where they're like, I'm not involved with God.
Yeah.
That time that they're not involved with God, to shed that old skin, what action, what type of, what do they have to partake to get out of that weird season that they're in? Because I think Christians call it seasons, where they're like, I'm in this type of season.
Yeah, season, phase, just that area of life that you're in. How do you get out of it?
Yeah, like, or what's the step, or what would you say is the step?
We're going back to, I forget the verse, but the parable where Jesus said that we are the branch and he is the vine. Abide in me and I abide in you. And ask what you want when you are abiding in me, and you shall receive what you ask for. I think when we're going through seasons in our life, if we just cling on to God as hard as we possibly can, we'll get through it. It's like a tornado trying to pick you up and drag you away. Yeah. But you're going to try your absolute hardest to hold on to something of foundation so you don't get swept away. And that's what I almost imagine it as. Like, when you're going through a season in your life, in order to really encounter a renewing or a new chapter of your life, because you're entering a new level of maturity, you have to cling on to Christ as much as you possibly can and not let this world renew you. You want God to renew you. Yeah. You don't want this world to renew your mind. You want God to renew your mind. So I think ultimately, like, when you're going through different phases of your life, it's at the end of the day dependent on what you're clinging on to the most, whether it's this life or the life that you're going to receive after this life.
And have you felt it in your personal experience? Have you felt like a change or a shed of skin, like where you saw yourself, I'm getting closer to God, I'm leaning more towards him, and things are getting a little bit better? Have you seen it in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, there's been multiple times where life is just rough some days, and then other days where life is great, and I can't complain, and I praise God. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a normal thing. Life is not always going to be rainbows and sunshine and puppy dogs and kitty cats falling out the sky. Like, that's just not the reality. We're going to have struggles and downfalls. But my next question for you, Omi, is how can Christians live in a world but not be of it?
True. It's a big one. Let me think about this one. So the world is always going to be there. It's always going to be around us. People are going to show it to you. You can't hide from it because we're part of it. There's steps you could do. So, like, if you're going to a public place, you're going to hear music that's secular. You're going to be around people that are dressed different. Like, if you go to the mall, you're going to see all types of people, all different types of people that live their life in a way that we wouldn't think is the best way to live. And it's not being being taken away from that. You want to be actually part of it, but not part of it that you're partaking in it. You just want to be part of it so you can see it and pray for those people and be able to understand that that's not good what they're doing. That's actually really sad that those people don't have a God that, and you don't know that because we can't judge who's Christian and who's not Christian. But if you see it, if you see something, it's like, and you know that it's sin, you can see it and you want to be able to see it. So don't stray away from the world, but don't partake in it. Yep. But you want to be able to see it. I think it's tough when it's right in front of you and you have to deal with it. And then it's on you to make that decision whether you go on and do that and partake in it or you say no. I think it's bigger. It takes a bigger person to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry for you. And I'm going to pray for you, and that's it, and then walk away. Yeah. That takes a bigger man, a bigger person to walk away from a situation like that. And you're going to be tested like that all the time.
For sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is the partaking. Like, just don't partake in the world. You need to see it. You need to be able to comprehend it so you could go on in life and be like, okay, I could pray for this type of person. I could pray for this type of person. And you can only do so much. Going to church, yeah, it's going to help you. It's going to push you through the rest of the week. But it's not there all the time. You know, you can't go to church every day and be like, okay, I'm in a holy place. Yeah. The world's around us. We have to work. We have to go to stores. We have to talk to people that aren't Christian. And it's not a bad thing. These people, they're there for a reason. Jesus sat around sinners and prostitutes and tax collectors because he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to be but he didn't partake in what they did. He
wanted to be a light, but he didn't want to conform in those ways.
Yeah, he was part of the world, but he didn't partake in the world.
Yep.
But he wanted to. That's the reason he came down, was to teach the people the right way. And it always says to be like Jesus. You're not going to be Jesus, but to be like Jesus is a good thing, because you could be part of it, but you don't have to do what they do.
Yep.
And that shows. I really do think you'd be a bigger person doing that. Yeah. So I mean, that's some advice. Other advice is to take yourself away from certain situations, especially if it's getting bad. You don't want to put yourself in a strip club or something crazy like that,
sure,
and expect to be like not tempted or try to save people or be like, I'll pray for you. That's not reality. You're going to go to the normal things that you go to. And yeah, sometimes it'll be sketch, but you're there for a reason. God got you there for a reason. But don't put yourself in a situation you can't get out of, and then that can make you sin.
Yep.
You're not going to go there trying to preach the word to everybody.
Sure.
We talk about Bryce Crawford a lot, how he talks to people that are like very controversial, and he'll go up to like goth people, he'll go up to atheists, and you know, he's not scared of it, and he'll go to like pride parades and stuff, and he's not scared of it, but he puts himself in that situation because he understands that he can handle it because God is guiding him through it.
Yeah.
But I don't see him going to like a strip club and doing that.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing that because that's not of his nature, and it's not right. It's not the right space.
Yep.
If a pride parade is going on, that's on public street. That's okay. That's understandable because he's there in that environment, because he's not partaking in the world, but he's part of it, so he has to walk on that street.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's 100%. Just certain things that you just don't put yourself in.
No. Yeah, and that makes absolutely so much sense. I mean, it's like, obviously Jesus was tempted. It says it in the Bible.
Yeah, of course.
You know, the devil tempted him, but he didn't put himself in situations where he knew he would fall. Mm-hmm. He only allowed himself to be tempted because he knew himself. And that's with everybody, you know.
Yeah.
I may not be tempted to drink alcohol, but I might be tempted to eat a burger. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe I'll place myself in front of a glass of wine, but I'm not going to put myself in a burger joint, because I know what I can handle, what temptation is stronger, and what I'm able to overcome at that moment. Yeah, absolutely. My next question for you, my boy, is what areas of life require the most discipline to remain set apart?
Family matters, becoming a husband. You gotta set yourself apart from the world. People tell you to go cheat on your wife or go do this and you'll be fine. They won't ever catch you. Or you could do this and lie to your partner and you'll be fine. Nobody will say anything. That's just the world telling you that. So I think in marriages, you have to separate yourself from the world. That is a time where you really have to separate yourself from the world, because marriage is of the Bible, is of Jesus. We are the church, and we are married into the church. And God is, Jesus, what is it, bride? We are the bride to Jesus. And that is the most holy thing. So if you have to separate your thoughts, any type of bad thoughts, any type of worldly thoughts you have of marriage, you have to take that out. Yep. And I know there's counseling for that. And I know you're in the process of getting married, and you'll probably have a counselor or something to teach you through the ways, because you want to live faithful man to your wife. Yeah. And I know you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, there's other things, like, I think it mostly goes with family, though. But you just don't want to be caught in the wrong situation either. You could really be caught in the wrong situation if you're trying to do something good or it looks good. You could be caught in the wrong situation. You could be in the crossfire. So I think just watching yourself also, not just only in marriages, but like in certain aspects of your life. Like if you have a brother that needs help with something, and the struggle's so bad that you even get in that process of doing the same thing he was doing because he convinced you that it was good. Like, you have to choose your battles. Can you help this person, or are you going to make it worse and then fall into it as well? You have to know yourself. I think you have to know yourself. So there is certain situations. I think marriage is one of the biggest ones, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. I mean, I think the areas to stay disciplined in, to remain set apart, is, I know it's the most basic thing, but to be reading your Bible, praying, worshiping the Lord, you know, actually living your day fulfilled by Christ and not trying to be fulfilled by the world, not trying to get the world's attention, not trying to get the world's approval, but living for only God's approval. Yeah. I think that that's one of the biggest things, and one of the things that people struggle with the most is that they want the approval of man, and the approval of man does not matter, because the approval of man did not approve Jesus. They hung him on the cross. Therefore, why should we want it? Mm-hmm. It's very important to stay disciplined. I mean, it's important to stay disciplined in your mind, in your body, in your spiritual health, in your mentality, to really decipher each and every area of your life where it needs work, where it needs to improve, where it could be better used for God. Yeah. Because there's, you know, like today, like one of those things, staying disciplined in how I speak, right? Yeah. I don't curse. I don't try to use foul language. And that's of the world. Not to gossip of people. I try not to talk badly about people. You know, and I was at school yesterday, and one of my classmates just looked at me randomly, and they said, "I've never heard you curse before." Mm-hmm. That's so weird. Yeah. But they're like, good for you. Like, they acknowledge that, like, that's a good thing.
But you set yourself
apart. And that's
apart
something,
from that.
right? And that's something where I just stay disciplined. And the fact of, like, I do not want to represent myself as someone who speaks a foul language. And I, you know, sometimes I fall where a teacher really just gets underneath my skin, and then I start saying something, you know, bad about that person. And I correct it immediately, because I know even if they're getting underneath my skin, I shouldn't be saying anything. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I really do try my absolute hardest. And that's one of those areas where I stay disciplined. You know, another area where I stay disciplined to be set apart from this world is from what you listen to, from what you watch, from the stuff that you are consuming in this social media love world that we have. It's so important to not get so consumed with everything that's being put out there. Some of it's good, but most of it's bad. If you get caught up into it, you can get stuck in a loop and fall into these trends that every day, that every person is trying to participate in, that is just making them worse each and every day.
I think social media is a good outlet. Like, you can use it for good things, and you will find good things, but you also find more horrible things than good things on it. So you also have to set yourself apart from the internet itself. I have an example of, like, I mean, I struggle with this the most, and it's gossip, and that's part of the world, being gossiping, lying, or talking bad about someone behind someone's back. I hate doing it, you know, and at work I get caught doing it, talking about people behind their back, and I know I shouldn't. And if I have to and I feel convicted, I'll tell the person straight up what I was telling them behind their back. Yeah. And, you know, it's hard. It's like, I don't want to tell this person this. I don't want them to make it feel. But it's better to be honest about it, better to be open about it, and not have this back and forth like, man, that guy talks behind my back. Yeah. And, you know, when I have, like, coworkers talking behind, like, gossiping and stuff, I have to literally set myself apart from that. I have to leave that conversation. I cannot. Because then I will start talking.
You get sucked in.
Yeah, that is one thing that I struggle with. And I know a lot of people, and it's the small thing. It's like lying, the white lies, or gossiping. Those are also from the world. And you have to set yourself apart from the world. Sometimes even by walking away. And it could be rooted in the moment. But it's what keeps you healthy. It's what keeps you with God. But yeah, I struggle with that. And if I have to, I'll just stop talking completely. If I can't walk away from the situation, I'll just stop talking. I'll just listen. And it's toxic, but you're there. You're part of the world. You can't escape the world itself. No. But you don't have to partake in it. That's what I was going with. So you just can't partake in it.
I got one more question for you, and then we could decipher what happens next. But how do we handle the pressure to conform? So when you are dealing with that heavy pressure that you want to partake in these ways of the world, that you want to give into gossip, that you want to give into the party world, that you want to start drinking, that you want to start smoking, that you want to start hooking up with people, whatever it may be, you know, falling into sexual sin, impurity, temptations, how do you, like, deal with that pressure? Because it feels like a pressure. It feels like a weight that's, like, just waiting to erupt within you because you just got so much temptation, you got so much whatever it may be, because you are just so overwhelmed with that pressure. How do you not let it overtake you?
I want to quote Pastor Luke. I won't quote it well, but it's like, if you go out and taste this world or whatever, but I hope it's the most bitter, sour thing in the world. Like, I forget what his like little quote was, but he's like, if you go and do this and you go taste the world or go and do this, I hope you feel the most bitter, the most ashamed. But it was for good reason. Like, it was because I don't want you to do it again. So if you do get up in that crossfire and you do fall into sexual sin, or you do fall, they want you to feel it. They want you to feel how bad it felt, like how ashamed you felt, how you made God feel.
Yeah.
So like, if you go out to this world, and you taste it and you're like, this is so bitter and sour and disgusting. Like, why would I ever eat that? Like, why would I even try that?
Yeah.
You have to feel that. Now, it's better not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would pray everybody doesn't have to go through those things. But I would also pray that if you do go out into the world and you do try certain things, I hope it doesn't feel right in the stomach. I hope it really, like, puts a pit in your stomach. I mean, it's awful to say, but it's what I hope. So if you do fall in it, I hope it does leave a sour taste in your mouth.
So
now, to combat it, again, the partaking. So if you have a toxic friendship and you see that it's going sideways, you have to talk to God, pray to God, be like, hey, is this right? And if it's not, take this person out of my life. Surely not, God will take that person out of your life. And it will be through, like, I hope nothing bad, but it would be through like an argument or like a disagreement or something happened in life where they had to go away. Anything like that. And then the minute that person's gone, or that toxicity, whatever toxicity it is, that is gone, you will realize how much better you are off than with that person. So yes, I think praying to the Lord, asking, if this is not doing me right, if this toxic thing is not doing me right, because you feel convicted, because you need to feel conviction first.
Yep.
Ask the Lord, take this away from me. If you want it gone, take it away from me. And God he'll throw stuff, and you'll keep ignoring it, because everybody does. We're all freaking human, and we all ignore things. But see those signs. Be like, okay, this is not good for me. I'm way better off not doing this sexual sin or this drug or this lying, or it's not benefiting me. It's not benefiting my family. I'm less healthy. I have worse relationships. I grow up and I have anxiety because I had this past where I was doing wrong things. If you stay stuck in it and it's a cycle, notice it. Notice the toxicity of it. Yeah. Get out of it before it gets worse.
Yeah.
And have people around you to tell you, hey, that's not good. Mm-hmm. Like, be open about it.
Sure.
Because the minute you look at somebody in the eyes and you feel that shame and that guilt, because it's easier to hide stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're hiding. It's easier to hide your shame and your guilt when you're hiding. But if you have to look at people all day, especially people that are God-fearing, you're like, man, I feel horrible. I feel convicted. It's happened to me. I felt convicted about small things that I didn't think were sins, and to find out they were part of the world, and they were sins, and I had to change my ways. You know, the easiest one's music. I never thought secular music was bad. I thought it was fine. I thought I was listening just to listen. I wasn't listening for the lyrics. I was listening for the beat.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was a cool beat. But that portrayed to my life, like, I realized, like, I was a little bit looser with the mouth.
Yeah.
I wasn't keeping my head straight. I was very toxic. I was thinking bad things, sexual sins. I was thinking about killing, for instance. Like, I would never think about killing. Like, but if a rap song or a secular song says something about killing, like, I'm just like, oh, that's just death, you know? And it took me a while, but I asked God, this is not doing me any good. Take it away from me. And, you know, I had to have a moment where I just didn't listen to music for a while. And then I got back to listening to secular music, and I was like, this sounds horrible. Like, this is bad. Like, I finally realized what they're saying.
Yeah.
But you have to set yourself apart from that, whatever toxicity you are part of, just for, you know, a couple days or however long. Come back to it, and when you come back to it, you're gonna realize how sour it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my answer to that question. I don't know if you got anything else on it.
Yeah. So I mean, you said Pastor Luke saying, if you go out into the world and you want to taste it, I hope it's bitter and it destroys you or whatever it may be. What happens to that person that does that? but they don't feel that bitterness. They don't feel that guilt. They don't feel that shame. What happens? What do you believe that person needs to take next? Because they know they're doing something wrong, but they don't feel the shame and the guilt about it.
Well, if they're already following Christ, keep following.
Yep.
Your answers, the answers will come out. It's everyone has a journey of faith. Everybody's faith journey is very different. Everybody's faith journey looks completely different. Some of them really by the book, they're doing really good in life. They don't do anything bad. And then somebody's faith journey is like, Saul, like going crazy, like, but he's still a man of God.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends that I look at their faith journey. I'm like, man, like, I'm not as close as bad as them, but that's not saying that they're bad. It's just their own journey.
Yeah.
So if that's their journey and they're in it and they don't feel no conviction, okay, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep following the Lord, especially if you're following the Lord. Now, if you're not following the Lord, that's your own thing. You have to find Christ. Like, but we're mostly talking to a group of like Christians. We would like to be talking to a group of Christians or baby Christians that are getting into it. But yeah, keep following. Your answers will show. Even if you don't ask God, God will get you out of that situation. And it might take forever. Like for me, secular music took forever. I didn't even think it was bad. That little thing, and I realized how much stuff it did to me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know any other thing than just keep following. You can ask questions about it if you are, but the thing is you have to be convicted.
Yeah.
Because you won't ask questions about it if you're not convicted. Or you could bring it up to a friend or whatever and normalize it. And if that friend feels off about it or something, that's another sign telling you this is not normal. I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Because people will show also like, that's weird that you're doing that.
For sure.
So, yeah. I mean, other than that, I don't got anything else. You got something for that?
No, that's good.
Cool.
That's good. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah.
All right. That's the end of this episode. And the episode 34. 34. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Adios.